Hey all, welcome in. I'm Rad, and today we're back on my hardcore world. Last episode we built a Lego set and 5 sentry towers, and today, well, this should probably be 2 or maybe even 3 episodes. But we're gonna do it in 1 because I don't seem to have any common sense or time management skill at all. For episode 16, we're making 16 farms. So 16 small farms, right? No. Well, yes, some are small farms, but 2 of them are massive endgame worthy farms, and some, you'll see. So what's on today's list? A moss farm, a new tunnel bore, copper farm, a mass crafter, a blaze farm, tropical fish farm, AFK fish farm, pink petal farm, lava farm, powder snow farm, pumpkin shearing converter, hanging root farm, vine farm, drip leaf farm. Oh yeah, and fallen breath 72,000 per hour ice farm, which broke me. Our first farm today is a small and very easy pink petal farm. I have flower farms for most of the dye colors already, and I want to make sure that I have them all. The simplicity of this farm is that pink petals work like 2 high flowers. You simply bone meal them and get more.
Obviously.
By putting it on mud, a hopper below will pull straight through it. A dispenser for bone meal and some glass to contain it is most of what I already need to make this work. Back-to-back observers will start it up, and check it out, you can already see the dispenser firing and the pink petals coming out. The lever will let me turn it on and back off. And that's what, like 12 blocks for our first farm? Hopefully they're all this easy. Okay, while we're on the Mushroom Island, let's take care of another farm or 2 that I need. Later in the video, we're going to make a massive ice farm, and when we do, I need to protect the redstone components and the lower bits of the farm from the snow while I build it. Upward-facing observers that then get snow built up on them can send a redstone signal that prematurely fires the system, and you never want that. And while I already have a farm that produces some moss, it's mainly for bone meal, and moss is a byproduct of it. I need a fast, dedicated moss farm, as moss will be the roof over our ice farm during construction. Moss is simple to place and destroy as a temporary block, and having a fast farm means I can despawn it all when I'm done without caring too much. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It's a 6-module automatic moss farm. The lava and water make stone, which the pistons push and break up. The moss in the center is never destroyed, so it gets bone mealed to make more, and then the broken moss gets washed away with water dispensers and into storage. We auto-compost just enough to keep the farm self-sustaining and save the rest as moss, so it produces the maximum moss while being 100% self-sufficient on bone meal. I did play with the default amount of bone meal getting sent back to the farms to keep it very minimal, and here's where we're at. And now if I come up near the end of the hopper line, you can see that each hopper is maintaining a full bone meal level. In fact, I get just a little bit of bone meal out of the system in overflow as well. But it's the moss that I'm here for, and project number 3 is going literally right next to the moss farm. Since I need to be here running this farm and sitting AFK, I decided that this would be the perfect spot to keep an AFK fishing farm. This farm will give me treasure loot as well as fish, as if I was fishing in the open ocean. Let's talk about this boat alignment. Getting the boats aligned for this farm is a nightmare. You have to align hitboxes to just barely overlap the ground, and then just barely overlap the previous boat, and nothing can go wrong with that, right? This first boat goes on a chain, a little bit like this, then you drive it as far left and forward as you possibly can without falling into the water. Again. Then you put a boat on a block here, let it fall on top of the first, then you hop in that one and drive it to precisely the correct position without nudging the bottom one or falling in. Again. I didn't have a fishing rod yet, but I thought I knew some place that often has them. These little drown temples. Let's see if we can go get a trash tier fishing pole to start with. Yep, this one has Curse of Vanishing and nothing else. That is trash tier. Cool. Surely this will be easy to align and nothing will go wrong. Ah, crap. Here's a tip, don't fish the very hard to align boat. I'm so good at Minecraft.
Hopefully they're all this easy.
After that very easy fix that only took like 20 minutes longer than building the farm itself, we're ready to do some peaceful AFK fishing. I already hate this farm. Once I got the bobber in the right spot, however, the farm does work well, and then I can just use F3 and T to automate the fishing, and it will pull in fish, trash, and treasure now, and I can run both moss and bone meal farms at the same time, and sit here quietly earning a bit of extra loot. Okay, let's go get a much better fishing rod built. I want Luck of the Sea 3, Lure 3, Unbreaking, and Mending on this, and then we'll do a little bit of enchanting so I don't have to roll fishing book villagers, and we can easily disenchant the wrong books, enchant the right ones, and all of that while having all the XP we could ever want just behind us. Our next project is a Mass Crafter. This allows me, as the name says, to craft a lot of items very fast. In order to use this Mass Crafter, you need Tweakeroo. That's a mod I use that helps me do a lot of repetitive tasks a little bit faster so I can get back to farms and building and playing the game rather than standing at a crafting table getting RSI. If you're using Tweakeroo and you're not using a Mass Crafter in your world yet, you're going to want this machine I'm about to build. It can craft over 3.4 million items per hour and absolutely crushes difficult crafting like dispensers, pistons, and such. Remember all the manual crafting I recently did? Yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay, let's go grab some redstone, cobblestone, and test this thing out. I'm going to put shulkers of cobblestone into 7 of these chests and a shulker of redstone into another. If I had a shulker of bows, I could put that into the 9th one to make dispensers instead. Now I come here and turn the machine on, the shulkers will get dispensed, run over fire to burn them off, and the drops will come to me in batches. From there I can use my Tweakeroo hotkey to craft the droppers, and in seconds we're done. I know we're getting the auto crafter in 121, but for now, this will do. I know I currently have a small lava farm, but we made it all the way back around day 250 and it's definitely small and slow. When I recently needed a lot of lava for the cobblestone farm, I used the nether rather than my own farm as I knew that would be faster. I do love having a fast lava farm though, so today we're going to expand ours from 50 cauldrons up to over 300. I'm also taking down the old lava farm and the old cobblestone farm to make room for where I want the new one. And now we have the build site prepared, and it's a rather large build site and a rather large farm, so let's go do the thing. Adding lava to the farm is one of the last steps and the one that I have to be the most careful with. Falling in lava with my elytron could be quite dangerous as it's easy to get caught up in it and not have time to recover. As I don't want to pop a totem or die here, you'll see I take several precautions. Number 1, I have a fire resistance potion on my hotbar in a very easy to access spot. If I fall in, I would just like to drink that as quickly as I can. The other plan is not to fall in with my elytron. My chestplate is much better protection against the burn while I drink my potion, so if I can, I'd like to wear that whenever I'm adding the lava. And I suppose the totem will keep me from dying as it gives you fire resistance and plenty of time to escape, but let's not get that far. As far as how I'll reach the middle of this pool, that's quite simple actually. I'm going to build each layer of glass over a completed layer of lava, and then I can just stand on that previous layer to see and reach the next layer. And with the farm complete and no totems popped, it's time to test the farm. Works quite a lot like our old version, but on a much larger scale. Pistons will push the cauldrons around, giving them time to fill up under the lava-drenched dripstone, and by the time they get back around to me, many are now full. My inventory is full, so the buckets will fall out and onto the carpeted hopper. More buckets are then dispensed to me, and as long as I just hold right-click, this will work for as long as I want it to. Before you say this next farm is useless, you gotta hear me out. I build some crazy-sized projects with weird requirements sometimes. It's not easy, and any help I can build myself in the world is greatly appreciated when I need that farm. This is a water bucket farm. Yes, I know how to get water into buckets in Minecraft, but one of the items I need the most in a world is water buckets. Every farm practically on the entire list today uses water buckets in it. The Mass Crafter used like 30 buckets and I had to just keep refilling and flying, refilling and flying, refilling and flying. It's not the best way to do it when you need a fairly large number. And yes, it's easy, but it's not efficient. So this is a very simple but more useful than you think design. All I have to do is throw empty buckets onto the corner of water here, and they get filled and go back straight to this chest. I can drop a whole stack of 16 at a time if I want and then walk away. Let's get to something slightly more useful. Speaking of water and needing tons, Tropical Fish Farm is a very large checkerboard of bubble columns and water so fish can spawn and then get shot to the top where they flop around until I catch them. Or they die. And they die a lot. I want a tropical fish farm because I don't yet have the rare blue axolotl and I do have the other 4 colors. I want to breed a blue, and to do that we'll need likely thousands of fish. They have a rare chance of being bred, something like 1 in 1200. So imagine needing 2500 or so tropical fish to get 1 blue boy. Once the soul sand and solid blocks are in on the floor, a temporary roof will let me place water, and breaking that will fill the entire build below with flowing water. However, I need source blocks of water, so then I add kelp to the bottom, grow it with bone meal until it reaches the top, and when I break all of that, the farm is essentially done. From there, fish spawn and I catch them by walking up to them with a bucket. Very simple concept, but I have to do a bit more to make this work for my needs. Back in this section, I'm going to build 24 very small breeding chambers. The easiest way I know how to make this is to make a 1x3 of water, put glass panes above that. That way I can still reach inside to feed the axolotls, and they can get air so they won't drown. But they can't escape once they're grown up, and if the babies escape, that's fine. It makes it easier to catch them if they aren't a blue one. I have the original 4 axolotls, and I want to keep them separate from the baby factory we're about to make, so I'll get them back into the shulker before we get too far, but these are the originals here. Okay, that's fish for both of them, and the first one is brown. Let's be honest, that's fine. If that wouldn't come out blue, you guys would have never believed it was true anyway, so I'm kind of glad that one came out brown. Let's put the other 2 originals in here and get a couple more fish. Surely 2 breedings, and that's all it'll take, right? Right? No, very wrong. Although now I have the original 4 back in the orange shulker and safe from being mixed with all the baby spam. The one problem with running this farm will always be pufferfish. They really don't know how to keep their hands or fins to themselves, so I have to kill them whenever I can. Let's catch some fish. The babies were taking quite a while to grow up, so I'm going to keep building and make this a bit nicer. I also put the original axolotls back in the breeder for now, so you can get a few more babies out of them and then start this up a bit quicker. This roof will let me AFK here or collect fish and not have to worry about phantoms. From here the routine became simple: catch fish, lots and lots of fish, and use them to try and breed enough axolotls to fill the breeding tanks. I didn't breed a blue axolotl from this attempt, but we'll come back later near the end of the video and try again. Moving on now, our next project is to create a very large tunnel bore and a mesa. When I made all the armor trims, we used over 800 diamonds, and the old boar just isn't quite fast enough anymore. It's also very expensive to build and add on to, costing 3 ancient debris per new bore. That's harder to say than it sounds. So I dug a tunnel down into the deep slate where we'll set up the new design and a new type of tunnel bore that maybe you've never seen before. I'm going to start with a small little tunnel bore, and this thing will dig most of the hole to put the larger bore into. However, I'm going to rebuild it a second time and then run it again, so we hardly have to dig at all. Why mine when you can blow stuff up, right? The small tunnel bore here is by Yizabite, and the self-assembling version was created by our lovely friend Comview, who does a lot of redstone stuff for me to make sure I don't blow myself up. The larger tunnel bore is a version of Wrecking Machine's bore, but with modifications. The design I'm using is by Underlean. There's no tutorial for this machine yet, but I'll be making one very soon, so check the description and/or pinned post to see if that's there yet. There are many benefits of building this small bore, but the primary one is that you can use it as your only tunnel bore, and it's very quick to build if you choose to go down that route. You can essentially mine as far as you want with it and make one very long mining tunnel at any Y level you like. If you want diamonds, it goes low in the deep slate near bedrock and just above the lava levels. If you want stone, diorite, or andesite though, put it higher and it becomes a very simple mining machine. Like the other tunnel bore, all I do is press this button, and the first time it'll prime the TNT and prepare it to work. But the second time I press it, alright, no in-game sounds. I got this. Something like that. While I run this a few times and it finds us diamonds and digs our hole, let me explain it a bit. This version and the bigger version of the bore are both basically holding on to lit TNT until the last second, and then a slime launcher is throwing it against the wall. And because it's all exploding midair, the explosion is way bigger than the old bore where the TNT would just land on the ancient debris. So this bore is cheaper, easier to build, easier to maintain, and works way better. You're starting to see why I built this one, right? Also, building this in the mesa is a little trick of my own design. The mesa has extra gold compared to other biomes, so not only will we get all the regular ores and blocks, but we get additional, new, and perfectly usable gold ore blocks far more frequently than if we built this in any other biome. And with the first tunnel dug, you can see that I've actually rebuilt the exact same machine just a few blocks over to clear the rest of the wall and the hole that we need. Oh yeah, I have one tip for running this. Don't stand under the TNT. Now it's time to make the much larger tunnel bore. The small tunnel bore is a tiny 3 TNT module machine that destroyed this whole area in less than 2 passes. The large version is 7 times larger at 21 TNT modules, and the bore will clear way more surface area than the old one, and functions at more than twice the speed of even that of the old full-size bore. It also means I can go reclaim almost a stack of ancient debris anytime I want it. Borkin's bore is really good. This one's just great. So here we are. It's a cheap, more effective, and easy to build diamond and cobblestone mining machine. And this has a special feature I haven't even shared yet. So much like before, we're just going to press this note block here, wait, let the machine do its thing, and that was fun. You know me, let's do it again. From just clearing the room out and getting started, this is where I'm at now with ores. A stack and a half of diamonds, almost a stack of gold, and about 3/4 of a stack of redstone ore along with tons of cobble deep slate to build with. Now for that secret feature I mentioned earlier. The target blocks running along this bottom row are not there just to look good. I can start the tunnel bore from either end simply by shooting any of the many target blocks on the machine, even the ones in the middle. Unlike the other bore where I had to constantly restart the process, go to the note block, wait, this one I can simply aim, fire, and boom. So let's do that a bunch of times. Aim, fire, and... So that's our new Trident tunnel bore. Yes, it's named that because you can throw a trident at the targets to start it too. So what did we get from that? Let's take a look. It's nearly 3 stacks of diamond ore, about 2.5 stacks of gold ore, 4.5 stacks of redstone ore, and even more loose items. That's a great success for as little as we actually did. Let's repair and get ready for the next project. One of the farms many hardcore players are actually scared of building is ENX04's Copper Farm. It's very fast, but it's taken out worlds before. This copper farm basically limits itself based on your computer and runs as fast as it possibly can. I won't push it today, so we won't lose the world, but when you see this farm running, you'll understand why. This farm needs a couple of long, flat strips of land from the point I want to put it in. I'll have to do a little bit of terraforming, but the island is pretty flat, so this won't be that difficult. Okay, so storage back here is basically an impulse filter, like most people are familiar with. I'm only storing copper here. I could sort any of the basic zombie drops out, but this is the only one that I really want. It's done, so let me explain it a bit. We need to bring overworld zombies to the end, and once I do, they'll chase me and I'll go down underneath here, hit the armor stand, which does damage to all those above me. They've gone into here, and so when I hit them, there's a chance they'll summon reinforcement zombies. As the zombies are underwater inside the kill chamber, they'll have a chance to convert to a drown holding a copper ingot. These are the ones that I want. The rest will spawn in with armor, weapons, or nothing. They just need to die and be the way that I spawn more in by calling more and more of their friends. I made a worse diamond sword to use with this farm, so I don't kill the zombies too quickly. I want them to spawn reinforcements, and it's time to get a few zombies into the farm to get it started. Each zombie has a 25% chance of successfully starting the farm, so I may need 4 or even 5 of them, but we'll see what we get. It looks like we have 2 to start. I want them to hold something so they don't despawn, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just stay close and move quickly. I'm using the outpost that I used for the Void Trader because it's a very simple way for me to get zombies onto the nether roof. Once I go through the same portal, they'll just chase me anywhere I want to go. It's pretty easy to hold zombie aggro as their target range is quite large. And if 2 zombies isn't enough to get the farm started, I'll probably just walk 6 or 8 more over next time. It's pretty easy to do this part. Eventually we're at the 4-way portal, and I think you'll like how this works actually. The zombies teleport instantly into the red door, and I can simply go through any of the other ones. Now they're going to be on the opposite side of the room as me, and I have time to set up the portal covering. This by far is the easiest way to get zombies in. Put a couple of blocks over the portal, stand on the middle, and they'll walk right in. Following the zombies in is the worst and scariest part. Unlike the nether where they usually walk a few steps away, in the end they're waiting for you and they instantly attack. I swapped to rockets in case they knock me off, but we're fine, let's go. I made sure the platform was connected to the main island, and now it's simply a matter of walking slowly and letting them follow me. You'll see plenty of Endermen here as we get started, but what I find funny is how they'll despawn over time because we have so many zombies. I'm using the new diamond sword, and by tucking myself into the hole here, the zombies will walk down the sides of the kill chamber and start the drown conversion process. The little holes you see in the farm are for babies. These have the unintended consequence of yeeting the babies hundreds of blocks into the void once the farm is at full speed. Watch for it because once you see it, it's hilarious. Okay, so all I'll do is look straight down and start attacking and hope this kicks off the farm working. Almost immediately we'll see a new zombie coming into the farm. That's a good sign. As I hit the originals, this one gives us at least a few more new swings to keep trying. Above the surface, we'll see the drowning is converting some of the originals already, and you can see another one heading into the farm around the corner. As I kill the first ones in the farm, we're also seeing new ones come in. It's slowly picking up, and I think we've officially started the farm with just 2 zombies. From high overhead, you have a better view to see what's happening. Watch the zombies start spawning in more and more as we hit more and more of the zombies and converted drowns that are already in the farm. Once you have a steady stream like this, it's only a matter of time until there are quite a few drowns in the farm and they start dropping you tons and tons of copper. After a few minutes, most of the Endermen are gone, and here come the waves of zombies now, and zoop, there goes a baby. Look how far from the farm he is. It's almost ridiculous how efficient this farm is, and this is the main reason it can crash people's game. Zombie spawns are not affected by the mob cap in this way. I can get hundreds and maybe thousands of zombies in the end at once. And this is real-time spawning. You can see 20, 30 or more spawn every time I swing my sword. There's so many they don't even fit in the farm anymore. When I'm ready to leave, I use my netherite sword to cull most of the remaining mobs. I want to leave a few in here, and as I'll show you, they've picked up some other zombie drops, so they won't despawn even when I leave the end. So I've left, now we'll go back, check on them, and here are our zombie friends. I don't have to get new zombies every time unless all of these ones despawn. And after just a few minutes of hitting the copper farm, we now have almost 19 stacks of copper ingots. Not a bad day's work and something we could do over a few hours to get much more copper. Not long ago, I opened up this room and collected some blaze rods. I didn't want to take the time to make a proper farm then, but I do now. The first thing we need to do is spawn-proof this room so I can work without blazes constantly spawning. There's a way to do this in a very specific pattern with glowstone, and if you don't know it, just try and follow along with what I do here. I will have to drink one fire res pot to get started, but that's expected. I cleared the first wave without it though. I'm going to put a solid block on all 4 sides of the spawner, and then glowstone on the outer sides of that, just like this. Next, I'll go out one more solid block and repeat that again, doing this on all 4 sides, of course. And after that, you'll just need these 4 diagonal ones 3 blocks from the spawner, and that's easy. Now we can work in peace. With the farm built, I'll just aim below the vines here and I can kill the blazes. You'll see there's already a few dropping in. It's not the fastest farm I've ever made, but for a spawner farm it works as intended. This is why I don't really make skeleton, zombie, or spider spawner farms though. While the blazes were spawning in and falling into the kill chamber, I thought I'd improve the farm from my side so it looks a little bit nicer. A few blazes later and I have a stack of rods already, which isn't bad. I stuck around and killed a few more until I had nearly 5 stacks, and then with the room tidied up I decided to take off. I spawn-proofed outside just a little so I know when I'm walking out I'm fairly safe here. I can't hurt. Now let's build one of the biggest farms of the episode. This is a 9,000 cauldron powder snow farm. And you may be thinking, rad, nobody needs a 9,000 cauldron powder snow farm. And you're right. But while I was researching which farm to build, as I do, I saw this. And once I saw it, everything else looked tiny and weak like that guy Neon benching the empty bar. If you know, you know. Also, it's day 1700. Cool. The ice farm needs a roof above it before you build it, and now I see what a great idea that would have been to do the same thing on this farm. Okay, let's take a look at this one. That is thousands of cauldrons just to collect snow. And now that I want it to snow, it's a perfectly blue sky day. And over in this corner we have a cart return system. Storage carts that have gone all the way around are returned here, and if the farm is off, they'll stay here until the next time you run it. They'll be started from here, and I'll add those in a second, and then they'll drop onto the rails and go all the way around the farm until they return here. And then this is the front door. I'll enter here to run the farm. The track will carry me around with empty buckets so I can spam the snow out of the cauldrons, and that all starts over here. When it snows, like it's finally started doing, you'll see that the powdered snow accumulates very fast, but not very much at a time. It looks like a lot of these cauldrons are filling up, but really they aren't. They're just getting a little bit of snow, enough to show, but not enough to collect by far. This is real time though, so this is pretty decent. Alright, let me drop in and show you how it all works. This cauldron is now at what appears to be a full level, but most aren't. Once there's snow in the cauldrons, running the farm is very simple. Let's add the collection carts here, and then buckets in here. Build my inventory with a block, and it's time to take this thing for a quick run. I just jump in the cart, push the button, and then aim forward. Then I hold right click and that's it. I can use F3 and T to hold right click for me, and now the farm is working automatically. You can already see my buckets are going down from 16 to 14 to 13. At the end of each far turn, if I don't have a full stack of buckets, it fills me back up so I can keep going. You see I'm back up to 16 empties now. The first-person view of me running this farm isn't very chill or easy on the eyes, so maybe let's go do something else. So I'm at the snow farm, but maybe not for why you think. My next farm is the elephant in today's room, the Big Bertha, the killer whale, I don't know, something huge. Like that pimple I had 3 days before prom. Anyways, the ice farm is going here next to the snow farm, and if I'm getting ice, I may as well at least give myself the chance to fill these 9,000 cauldrons. Alright, say the thing, Rad. Let's build a farm. Currently, I'm making the XP farm. Wait, XP farm? I thought you said you were making an ice farm, Rad? Well, yes, but to mine 72,000 ice per hour, I'm going to need to have a way to repair my pickaxe or it will quickly break. So I'm building a Piglin XP farm that shoots XP up to me while I'm mining. This farm is crazy. The design is by Fallen Breath, and like everything I can, it's linked in the description. Piglins will spawn in these giant portals, be attracted to the turtle eggs that they want to smash, fall into a pit where snow golems will aggro them to drop the XP, and then that gets slime launched up to me. I know how complicated that sounds. Try building it. And yes, there are 29 shulkers of material to build this farm, and you're getting exactly 3-ish farm episodes in the next 10 because this farm broke my spirit, my will to live. This episode should have been simply titled, Pain. Okay, I'm up to another part that I want to show you. These massive platforms are where we'll form the ice. 5 sets of platforms will spawn 5 sets of ice, and those will be pushed by 5 sets of flying machines into 2 separate ice conveyors. The conveyors will push the ice to me, and any excess ice goes into the TNT blast chambers, where TNT will eliminate the leftovers. I hate this farm. Okay, hate is a strong word, but this is my least favorite project in the world so far, and by far the biggest. It won't be my least favorite once it's done. I know it's a very worthwhile farm. Blue ice is ridiculous to get, it's very expensive, and I want access to it. This is definitely the best way. I'm just whining, but let's keep going. I did get something fun in the process of building this farm. There was a storm and I saw these guys spawn in, so I went to battle and came out with a bunch of them. I love skelly horses, and one day I'd love to do something absolutely epic with them, but for now they're gonna go in a hole in the ground. So the farm is basically built now and ready to do final touches. The first thing I need to do is light all these portals. This is definitely one of the most fun parts unless I go in one. And as you can see, the flying machines are completed and the only thing left to do is remove the roof. With that gone, this is the main chamber for the farm. Let's turn it on here and go inside. Once the farm runs for a moment, the ice will start to appear in front of me. It takes a few minutes for the first ice to make its way down to the conveyors and over to me, but eventually it will. The ice is catching up now, and I'm breaking a fairly steady stream. You'll see the durability on my pickaxe staying very close to full from the XP that's getting launched up to me from the Piglin farm below. Let's turn this off though, and I'll show you how all the little parts I keep talking about work. The ice freezes in these rows here, and then the flying machines will push it forward onto the block conveyors in the center of the farm. You can see the conveyors pushing small chunks of ice in the blocks below. That goes in front of me here, and I get XP coming into my feet from down next to this chest. As you can see, it's still coming in now. The piglins are walking toward the eggs and falling into the snow golem area below. And this right here is the final project that hurt my soul and broke my technical Minecraft spirit. Can I just go build a house or something now? I'll build storage on a lot of farms soon, so I left this one as is for now. It makes 72,000 ice per hour, and I'm giving it a double chest. Good job, Red. Storage tech is my passion. The intended benefit of running the snow farm at the same time worked great. It took a long time to build that ice farm, and guess what? It snowed a lot. Look at these cauldrons. I have more snow than I'll ever know what to do with, so that's a huge positive, I guess. I've already taken a few double chests of snow buckets out of this, and there's at least 5 more double chests plus hoppers still in the farm. I'll shulker load this later too. If I was smart, I'd end the episode here. I already pseudo-raged about the ice farm build, but I'm not that smart. Let's finish strong and get the rest of these farms done. I don't know what's wrong with me either, don't worry. My first stop was back to the tropical fish farm. I really wanted to get you and me a blue axolotl in this episode, so I tried, and tried and tried. I bred more than 500 axolotls using over 1,000 tropical fish. Over and over, I got everything but blue. This is the place where I'm meant to tell you that after hours of grinding, we got it. But we did not. Instead, I'm going to build 4 more farms. We're not even doing a time lapse for this one, okay? Ready? This is our new pumpkin carving machine. It's automated, it works great. Let's keep going. Next on the list is a vine shearing farm. This works by me standing in the water and getting pushed in a loop. The vines grow in front of my face and I collect them. If I break my shears, new ones are automatically dispensed to me so I can keep going. It's super easy and a useful farm. Let's build it. And once I put the vines in, this farm is actually already done. Vines will be useful for mossy cobble and mossy stone bricks as well as their slab and stair variants. Vines can also craft banner patterns, block entity movement, and absorb fall damage. This is the simple setup for now on how I get more shears. I get carried around by the water stream while looking this way. Oh look, a hanging root farm just appeared out of nowhere. Okay, I fixed up the storage and took this one seriously, but now it's a very, very easy, very fast farm, and it works perfectly. And finally, I ducked into this cave just to get a few drip leaf. And just like that, we have a drip leaf farm too. That works. Okay, somehow that happened. We built everything I had planned for this episode. Next time I'm going to build a huge arena for the Asian spawn city, and we're going to work on storage for all these farms I've been neglecting. For now, this ice farm has broken me, so I'm going to go have a stress nap or something. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.